I will be looking at the string class and some of its methods. First, I have defined here, there's 3 strings, line 1, line 2, and name. And they include not just one, word or set of numbers. They actually have somebody's name and the age and the gender. But the user enters this as one string or one line in one line. So if you actually read from the keyboard and you say next line, okay, so all this will be read into line 1. And if you read the next one into line 2, it will be all this into line 2. And here's another string, just the name this time, and here it is. Okay, but in each of these cases I have also entered indices, which is the index for each of the characters within the string. Right, it starts at 0, okay, and goes from 0, 1, 2, 3 and up to whatever the length of the string is. So the first method that we will look at is the length. Right, it does not require any arguments, just the name of the string dot length returns the number of characters in the string. So in this case there are 5 characters. Notice even though it ends at 4, that means it's because it's starting from 0 to 4, it's 5 characters. And then the next one is charAt. So if you want to find the character that is at a certain position, we can say charAt 3. So we look at charAt 3 in line 1. It is M, so it returns M. And we could also have, in fact, we could have a variable name as well. So line 1 dot charAt, a variable name, some kind of number. Okay, that will be an integer. But if that num is, say, 7, it will return the character 1. Okay, given that num is 7, it will return 1. So you could replace that, actually have a number or a variable. Right, the next one that we will look at is equals to. When something is compared as equal, like we have if something equals something. For primitive data types, we just use double equal. But for string class, we cannot just use that because it's storing the actual address, and we can't compare that to actually compare the values. So what's inside line 1? If you want to compare with line 2, we have to use dot equals method. Now with that method, you actually require an argument. So we list the first string that we want to compare and the second string in brackets, and it will return true if they actually match exactly, even with lower and uppercase. So it is case sensitive. And so in this case, it will return false because these two are not the same. But what about we are actually checking the name is same as Ahmed? A with lowercase, it should return false because it is different. There's one mismatch. But if we have it in uppercase, and it returns true then. But there is also another one called equalsIgnoreCase. This is quite useful as well because if somebody typed in Ahmed like this, okay, lower and uppercase mixed up, and the original one is like this, if we say equalsIgnoreCase, we don't care what case it is, as long as it's the same letters, same characters, it will return true. And another one is we can find out if the string is actually empty. So we actually enter the name of the string, name dot is empty. Is empty actually requires no parameters. It returns false in this case because Ahmed, this name, is not empty. The next lot we will look at is the indexOf. Now line 1, right, we are trying to find where is the space. IndexOf, it actually returns, it starts from the left, 0th position, and 0 index, I should say. It's the first position but 0 index, okay, 0 index, and then starts from here and goes looking for this first space it encounters from this end. And in this case, it's the 5th one. Okay, but if you also have line 1 indexOf, again a space, and 6 this time, what this means is instead of starting at 0, so by default, if there's no number listed here, okay, just one argument, it will only find the first one starting from left. But if you actually list an argument, an integer, or a variable here that's of integer type, it will find, starting from that position, where is the next space. So start at 6, okay, where is the next space? Is it a space? No. Is it a space? No. Here it is, space 8, so it returns 8. The next one is line 2 dot index of IAO. What this means is it actually can look for a string. Does this string occur inside the main string? Does this substring occur inside there? We'll have a look. And where does it start searching? If a position is not listed, it will start searching at 0. So it starts here. Is it there? No. Is it here? Oh, here it is. We found it. And it returns the position of the first occurrence of that IAO. So it's 1. The next one is we are saying the same thing in line 2. Look for this index, look for this IAO, but start at 2. Notice if we start at 2, we don't have IAO, we have AO. That doesn't mean anything, but we want IAO. Therefore, it returns -1 because it hasn't found what it's looking for. Okay, so next lot is line 1, last index of. Now, notice the difference. In the first lot we looked at was the index of. It starts looking from the left, from that position to the left, to find the first occurrence of that character. Now, if you actually do the same thing with the last index of, it will start at the end of the string. So in this case, it will start, it says line 1 dot last index of space. Where is the first space? Or where is the last space? Sorry. So it starts from this end, goes to the end of the string and starts searching. The first one is at 8th position, so returns 8. And if we say last index of space, we can also send another argument. It's not always 1. We can send 1 or 2. If you're sending 2, the second one must be an integer to say which position do we start searching at. We start searching at position 4. Okay, 4th index. A 4th index here, right? It's this one. So start searching here. That means it includes that as well. Start from that. So it will search. Is that a space? Is that a space? Now notice it's going backward. Last index of. Oh, sorry, I'm doing the wrong. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong name. Sorry, this is line 2. Okay, it's starting here. Is it a space? Because it searches the current position as well. So it's in index 4. Is it a space? Yes, it is. So it found the first one that it from that position. Notice it's going to go backwards searching, but it didn't need to go anywhere because it found it in the current position, so it returns 4. What about if it starts searching line 2? Okay, line 2, last index of. It's starting at 5 this time, position 5, and then go backwards. Start here, the space is not there. Is the space here? Yes, it returns 4. The next one is, now this is an interesting one. I just made sure I put in a little bit of complicated looking something in there, because you can just put a number or a variable of integer type, or even another method that returns something. Because any method that returns something, especially an integer, it can go in here, right? So because it returns an integer, that integer can be replaced as the position. So in this case, what we're trying to say is find the line 2 length. Okay, length of line 2 would be 9. Notice it's not 8, it's 9. And then I have said -1 here, because there's nothing in 9th position anyway, index 9. So we have to go to -1, start searching from this end, and go last index of. So if you're starting from here, going backwards in the search, we find the first space is in the 7th position. So therefore, 7, index 7 is returned. Next one is name.lastIndexOf. We can actually have a string, not just character, a string. So we're looking for the word or substring med. Is med in name somewhere? Where is it found? It starts from here, goes backward. Oh, here it is, med, M-E-D, it's 2. Okay, now next thing we ask is, if we start at position 3, okay, index 3, and start going backwards, we cannot find that because D is missing. So therefore it returns -1. Another lot that's important is name.replace E with U. Okay, in this case it's name. This word here, this string, we want to replace every occurrence of E with a U, and there's only one occurrence, and that's replaced with a U, and it returns it. Notice it returns, it does not change the original one. It returns AHMUD instead of ED. And the next one is extracting a substring from a line. So if you want to extract a substring, like line 1 here, we are saying extract substring from position 6 onwards. So start at position 6. If you start at position 6, go right to the end of the string, it extracts everything. If there's nothing after this, notice if there's only one argument, it only extracts the whole thing after, including that position and after, till the end. So in this case, we got 21 space F. Notice the space is important too. This is a space here. But if you want to have a particular amount, a number of characters in your string that you're extracting, you can specify that you need to specify the starting and the ending, even if it's at 0. Okay, even if it is at 0. So we are saying in line 1, start from 0 to go up to 5. Now this is very important. Why have I picked 5? Because that's the place I know that the name ends. The one before, there's a space, so there's the name and the age and the gender. I found this position by looking for the first space. Where is the index of the first space? And then now I can just take the name of the person. How do I do that? Line 1 dot substring, start at 0, go to the position 5. Now you might think, oh, it's going to pick the space. No, it doesn't pick the space. It will actually go from 0 to 5 minus 1, which will be 4. So it will be only Naomi that's picked. It's important to note that it goes, this position is not included, it's minus, but on the left side what you have, it's always included. It starts at that position, it starts at this position exactly. Right, and something else here is trimming a line. Okay, what if you had to trim a line? Oh, by the way, I didn't mention here. Okay, trim this line means in this, take this, oh, that's not the one, yeah. Okay, in this line 2, if you trim that, is there anything to be trimmed? Trim just means like get rid of the spaces before and after. There's no spaces before and after, so it just simply returns that. Right, but if you had to do trim, I should change this position because it's related to this. That's why I knew I was slowing down there. There was something not quite right. Okay. Oh, just the order matters, okay, because I'm covering trim method here. So space, like many spaces, hello, many spaces by many spaces, it trims the beginning and the ending, not the middle spaces. Okay, and it returns without those leading and trailing spaces. The next one is toLowerCase. Another method, we can call the string name dot toLowerCase. It converts it all to lowercase and returns it. Notice once again it doesn't change the original. Okay, and also what about a word here? Just uppercase, all messed up cases here. Convert that to uppercase. It returns all uppercase letters. Okay, thank you for listening, and in the next video I'd like to actually show you how to extract different parts of these lines.